For purposes of this video, we're going to take an existing light switch and change it out with an Insteon compatible switch. Now, relay switches, dimmers, keypads, and toggles will all wire the same way. We're going to show how to install a compatible dimmer switch. The first step is to remove the switch. Now, we're going to want to kill the power to this switch by shutting off the breaker or the closest disconnect means to this switch for our safety. Now that the power is off, we're going to remove the faceplate and start taking the switch out. Now that the switch is out of the wall, go ahead and restore power to it and use a voltmeter to determine which leg is your hot leg and which leg is your switch leg. Now, in some cases this is denoted by a different color, black being your hot and maybe red or blue or another color being your switch leg. We're going to show you how to identify that in this case. I'm placing one leg on to one side of the terminal, one onto the ground wire, and I'm reading the voltage. When you're checking voltage, you're probably going to get a reading somewhere between 110 volts and 120. Now that we've identified the line and the load, we want to make sure power is back off to the switch, because we're going to flag one of these with a black tape, or whatever tape you have handy so you know which one is which. This one here with our meter reading was the line coming in. Now that we've removed the existing switch, we're going to place a switch-link dimmer in its place. We identified our hot wire, our load wire, our ground wire, and we also have a neutral wire. We're going to talk about that later, but let's get the switch installed now. Now this switch wired up exactly wire for wire to the switch that I took out. The only difference being the neutral wire, which is added. Now in this box we had a neutral wire, and I've actually added a small piece to lengthen it so I can work it outside the box. What we're going to do is just attach that wire like this. And this switch is ready to have the power turned back on. Now in the event that you don't have a neutral wire in your box, you may want to contact an electrician to help you out with this. Now just keep in mind, this neutral wire was not connected to the existing switch. This was a wire that just passed through the box, but was identified as a white wire. One thing we want to do also when we're making a connection, make sure the wire nut gets on nice and tight and also covers all of the copper that was exposed. You can check this by tugging on them. Make sure they're nice and secure. Now it's time to place the wires back in the box. We do that by pushing them in just like this. Then we're going to place the switch, making sure that all the wires are all tucked safely inside the box. Making sure the LED also is on the left-hand side up at the top. Now it's time to screw the switch in place. Now all we do is finish tightening the switch, put the faceplate back on, and now we're ready to test the switch. Now that power has been restored to the switch, let's go ahead and test it. The light comes on, goes off, and that's it.